And there's the beautiful Enterprise Center. Welcome in once again. This is the Late Shift, presented by Bud Light. We are in the underbelly of the Enterprise Center. The dressing room's right behind us. We got a live audience, and we got a couple of Blues legends here with us once again. Bernie Federko, the Hall of Famer, no introduction needed, and no introduction needed either with the all-time leader in wins, former Blues goaltender Mike Liut.
Oh,
welcome back to St. Louis.
Yeah, great to be here.
How much fun are you having this weekend?
I'm having a great time. It's a terrific event. Lots of fun, lots of laughs, and get hockey players a couple drinks, and ask them to tell stories. And there's no end to it.
Bernie, when you guys start reminiscing, you go back talking about your playing days. Like what comes up first? Like what do you think about first when you start talking about your guys' playing days together?
Just have to go back and remember. It's the hardest to remember. Getting too old to remember a lot of the stuff. No, you know what? Once you play with someone, you know what it's like. You become they become your best friends. They become like brothers to you. I mean, especially for all of us. We all come from different areas of the world, or from Canada. We're, Mike's from out east, I'm from out west, and when all of a sudden you end up on the same team, everybody becomes the one brotherhood, and you just hang around, and everybody becomes best of friends. So it's when you see them, it's like you have got so much to talk about, but you haven't missed any time, even if it's 10 years or 20 years or whatever it is. It's just we've just had so much time together that you just never forget it.
Yeah, but this is the best part about the Blues Hall of Fame. And now bringing people like you and Mike back to St. Louis, and it gives the fans a chance to kind of mingle with you and allow people to recognize how great you were when you put that jersey on.
They get to reminisce, and there's a lot of people that we're fans, are fans of that time, and it gives them a chance to come back. And it's a lot of times when you grow up and your dad took you to the rink, and what you saw at the rink stays with you, and that's what I've gotten today or this weekend. A lot of people saying how they would go to the games with their parents, and that was a big memory for them, and they watched me play and all that good stuff. And Bernie's right. And we played the Winter Classic. We were in the dressing room together, and we have been in the dressing room for decades. 5 minutes is right back into the groove of chirping each other and having fun, and it's like you haven't left.
Yeah, you can get back there very quickly. All right, this is the second year for the Blues Hall of Fame. Bernie, obviously you were in attendance last year as well, being part of the inaugural class, but another great event last night. I mean, people obviously have a lot of fun, and when you get Brett Hull and Big Walt now involved, it's a lot of laughs last night at the Missouri Athletic Club.
Yeah, you know what? It's what's so funny about it, Andy, is that when you just the way it's done. I mean, it's just a round table. Everybody just kind of bringing up stories. I mean, it's not speeches and all kinds of different things. It's just guys talking with each other. You bring up a memory, and somebody feeds off you and rolls off you, and I think that's what makes it so much fun. And I think John and Chris do such a good job too. Is they do so much research, or they know more about us than we do. And when they all of a sudden bring something to us, then all of a sudden you just catch on to it, and Mike remembers something else, and of course with Walt and Hully and Al, those guys, Prongs, they've all played together. So when you have so many great memories from that, and when someone jogs your memory, you even know more stuff.
Yeah, nobody has more fun than Hully, but the best part is it brings all these former players from different eras together, right? Yeah. And you guys all share the same camaraderie because you played in the same city with the same organization, but to be able to hang out with Hully and Al McInnes and Pronger and all these guys, along with Bernie, who you've known forever.
Yeah, well, for me, I married a girl from here. I didn't come back to St. Louis, right? I don't know. Life, does that to you at times. But I always feel a little bit on the outside because these guys all live here. So coming back, and certainly this honor, brings me a little bit closer to the, to the Blues and the history and all of that good stuff. And it's always good to see them. It doesn't impact anything that I don't live here. But, I don't feel as close as the guys that see each other all the time. They played hockey when they retired, together. They're playing golf, and so it's lots of fun for me, and I feel more included because of this honor.
And it's good for your kids too.
Yeah,
I mean, the kids come in because our kids are here. I mean, they grew up here and they're here. Your kids kind of grew up here, and then you guys were all over.
Yeah.
And now for them to come back and see what you really were all about, because this is where you made your name, and I think that's what's so really good about it, is that when your kids a lot of times don't know what you did. You know what you played, but now they see all the great things. They heard about it, but now they see it more in front of their eyes right there.
I could see it with your kids in the owner's box today in Tom Stillman's suite. I mean, just their reaction to see some of the fans, how they were reacting to you, and they're taking pictures with you. We had a fan who had a tattoo of Mike Liut on his forearm. I mean,
that's impressive.
So, and your kids were like, "Oh my God, this is great," and your wife too. So I know they enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And here's the picture right here.
Right.
So here's the story, Bernie. I run into this fan on the concourse, and he said, "I've never met Mike Liut. He had a huge impact on my life back when he was in high school." He said he wrote a letter to Mike back in the day. I don't know if you ever received the letter.
Yeah, no. He said he asked for some tips on playing goal. I wrote him 3 pages. It's like a shocker.
And so he gets the tattoo of Mike on his forearm. Maybe there's some Bernie tattoos out there. If somebody has one,
Gosh,
come on, send it to us.
I hope not.
But that was cool for
Yeah,
you.
it was good. And you know, my kids, when I left the game, they were 10-7, that sort of thing, 10-9-7. And they were around it. Justin would come to the rink, in Hartford and all of that. But, they really didn't, they were all born here, but they didn't know St. Louis. They only knew Hartford. So, and it was a little bit of an eye opener for them, right? And so that was great. It's good to see.
All right, the 1976 draft class. It's hard to believe that it produced 2 great players, but obviously Brian Sutter was also involved in that draft class. Well, what was your first impression of Mike? Like when you had heard of him, did you know that you guys were getting this elite level goaltender?
No, we really didn't know. No,
I didn't know.
Well, no, we did. The whole thing is, in those days, when guys come to camp, you don't know anything about them. I mean, basically, we had our team. Eddie Stanowski was our goaltender, and we had heard about Mike. I mean, Mr. Francis kind of talked about, a new goaltender that was coming in that was, drafted, that was in the World Hockey, and we didn't know anything about Mike until he came, and then right off the bat, you knew what he could do. I mean, Mike was, as I keep talking, he was one of the original kind of what I would call stand-up big goaltenders. He was tall, and he played. He didn't flop all over the place. Well, he is there right there in that deal. But he was really more of a stand-up guy, and we really had not seen that before. So he was our backbone. I mean, we gave up a lot of scoring chances in those days, and trust me, Mike was all over the place, and you can just see by watching something. It's kind of hard to watch this stuff compared to all the television now is so crisp and clear.
Right.
But it's really, I mean, he was one of the first guys that really gave us a chance to win each and every game, and we won a lot of games because of it. And there's a perfect example: a stand up instead of just flopping all over the place. He stood his ground, and I mean, his angles, everything. So he was we knew right away, just from practice, that you couldn't score him. If you scored him in practice, when we did, we really let him know, and he hated that.
Yeah,
so
he was about pissed off.
So when you got here, was Bernie already an established star?
Yeah,
in the NHL?
he had played in Kansas City for half a year.
I played for Kansas City for my first year, but you didn't come till '79.
Yeah,
so I had
so he had one full that year plus one full year, and he was, well on his way. But it's not, there just wasn't the hockey information. There was the hockey news. If you didn't get and the hockey news was like a month late, right? And I played in Cincinnati, so the hockey news did not quite get to Cincinnati. But for me, it was just coming. I was now going to get a chance to fulfill a life. My dream, my childhood dream, was to play in the NHL. And WHA was great for a lot of reasons, but it was still the NHL, and we all looked forward to getting to the NHL. And when I came to training camp, it was just, okay, I got to, make my mark and find my way. And, you didn't know anybody. You just, I actually knew Joe Micheletti because we played against each other. He was in Edmonton. But, you just get in another season and go and play.
And we were just coming off a terrible year. We got the second draft pick. I mean, that's when Perry, same year Perry came, because Perry was the second draft pick overall. So we finished with, I think we had 18 wins. I think that's all we had that year. So we were now all of a sudden wanting to start our way up, and Mike was the new guy on the block to start us on that trajectory.
All right, the 80-81 season. How good was this guy in 80-81? Obviously, you win the Lester B. Pearson, and you're the runner-up to Gretzky. it's great being a runner-up to Wayne Gretzky, right? And you can accept that. That's an incredible accomplishment. For the Hart Trophy, I mean, how good was he this season?
Well, I mean, I think the fact that he won, I guess, with was it Lester B. Pearson at the time? Now it's the what is it now? It's the Lindsay Trophy now. I mean, when your peers pick you as the most valuable player, you know what? That is almost more important than winning the Hart, which is picked by the press. You know, so he was every bit of it. I mean. We gave up a lot of shots all the time. We ended up with 107 points, I think, that year. We were, and that was the balanced schedule where everybody played 4 times in the league, and he was the reason that we were there. I mean, we scored a bunch of goals. We had, I think, you said 10 guys.
10 guys with
20 or more goals. Babs was the first blue to score 50 that year. I got 100 points that year. So I mean, there's a lot of firsts we had that year. And you know, Mike and Babs and I went to the All-Star game in LA that year. So there's a lot of great things that happened for us, but he was the backstop. I mean, he won the most valuable player at the All-Star game too, because we went head to head. That it was the triple crown line that you kind of stoned and stuff.
That's when the All-Star game was a real game.
Yeah,
a real game?
It was exactly.
Whether like hitting?
Yeah, absolutely.
So there was
intensity.
There was no fighting.
But you weren't playing for $1 million?
We weren't playing for $1 million. I
don't even know what we were playing for. $5.
$5, maybe. But it was the Wales and the Campbell Conference, and I remember the Wales had beat Campbell like 3 or 4 times in a row. Right? What you see in baseball's All-Star game. And I don't know who it was. I think it was Billy Barber or LaFleur. One of them stood up and smacked the table with his stick, like where it jarred you, and he just kind of growled, "We're not losing tonight." They did not want to lose that hockey game. It was serious. In the All-Star game, it was serious. Yeah.
A little different than today's All-Star game.
Yeah, it was like night and day different.
Hey, your mask, it gets so much attention. The menacing mask, I guess, is the way people describe it. But were most goaltenders wearing a mask like that? And how could you see out of it? Could you breathe with that mask?
Yeah.
Look at this thing.
Yeah.
Just needs a chainsaw.
Yeah,
and you'd be fine.
But it's molded to your face. It's it fits me and nobody else, and that's you can see clearly, and it just didn't have any padding in it. So when you got rattled, you got cut. If it hit an air hole, you're going to get cut. There's a lot of angles to it. It's pointed in the middle, and you see the ridges on the forehead, and pucks would deflect off it. But the idea was not to get hit in the head with the puck.
Was it comfortable?
It was more comfortable than that thing. I hated that, right? But it was just, the mask just became obsolete, and that was the wires there would bend. That was not.
Did you wear that wire? I don't remember you wearing that.
Yeah, well, Kevin LaValle hit me in the forehead. We didn't talk about this last night, but I got hit. It was before McInnes, because I was wearing the cage, but I got hit in the forehead, and my head swelled up so much that the cut didn't open up. It kind of buckled in. It almost looked like a gunshot hole, right? And
LaValle could shoot it too.
Oh, he could fire it, and it was just point blank. And I couldn't get the mask on. I put it on, but it was sitting like I was looking out the ear hole because it was raised up off my head because of the bruise. And then I tried to put that Jofa on, and it just killed my head. And Woody's going, you don't want you get the bleeding behind your eye. So I didn't play, and then we lost the game late, on a bad goal, and Barkley came in, started giving me grief about not getting back in the game, and blamed me for the loss.
You got hit it was in Chicago too, wasn't
Chicago
it? LeCure,
you
were hit,
yeah,
then you
Ted Bully.
Yeah. And then you got knocked your head, and then LeCure scored the goal.
The goal in overtime.
You knocked the mask off,
he
knocked me
right
out. Yeah,
he knocked me back, and I was always thinking about, it's overtime, right? Like you get hit in the head, your reaction is, you close your eyes, you got to force your eyes open. And I got blasted. Ted Bully, LeClaire passed the Ted Bully, blasted it from, 20 feet, right in the face, and knocked me straight back. And I'm trying to get up, and I'm bleeding all over the place. And I remember Rick LaPointe came over, and he's pushing me down. I'm trying to find the damn puck, and he's pushing me down, and LeClaire came around, and he scored. And Andy Van Helm, not that I'm upset about this, or I'm over it, really. But Andy,
no, you're not.
Andy said, I thought you got it in the shoulder. I said, if I got hit in the shoulder, there's no chance I'm going to get knocked on my ass.
Were you joking with me earlier today? I said, where's that mask? You said somebody stole it?
Yeah.
Who stole it?
the guy who made it, Greg Harrison, he asked for it for the Hall of Fame. There was an exhibit in the Hall of Fame. And so I gave it to him. He was going to mount it and give it back to me, whatever. And then I didn't think about it. It was the end of my career. I was trying to figure out what I was going to do next. I started law school, and I was buying the kids some skates at a shop in Detroit, Bob Perani's, and one of his salesmen said, "Bob's got your mask." And I go, "Well, he can't have my mask because I've got the 2 that I used, and the one from Bowling Green is 3, and the other one is in the Hall of Fame." And Bob comes out, he says, "No, I bought it off of somebody that bought it off of Greg Harrison." I was like, "You got to be kidding me!"
Oh, we
right?
need to get this back.
Yeah.
We need the mask back.
Well, you still have 2 though. You still have some.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
you still have.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a special guest. You never know where who's gonna show up.
You never know who's going to walk in.
Come to my old right over here, Jordan. But it's interesting because watching Jordan play. Obviously, people know now that you're a successful NHL player agent. You represent Jordan. But you were saying this earlier, Bernie, that Jordan reminds you of Mike Liut.
Yeah, the competitiveness.
What are the similarities?
Because I watch him every night. I watched him all the time. The competitiveness. He can't stand to have a puck go by him, and practices the same way. He does the same thing you do. Any puck that goes in the net during practice, he has to pull up. Yeah. He won't let anybody take another shot until that puck's out of the net. Yeah. And so it reminds me of you, and that's why I say that. It's the competitiveness you have.
Well, you put up a shutout tonight. You played great here tonight, Jordan, against Washington. But for you to do that when this guy's in the building, talk about your guys. How long have you guys known each other, and what has he meant to your career?
If I'm correct here, I met Mike when I was 15 years old. He came to a minor hockey league game, and that's where I first met him. And I feel like my dad had a lot to do with the orchestration of, if that's a word, of the whole ordeal. And I feel like it's meant to be. We're meant to be together and work together, and it's been a fun journey so far. And he's full of wisdom and full of phone minutes. I got to make sure I have enough minutes on my phone plan.
Did he offer you to buy you a car or something?
No, nothing like that.
I'm not surprised.
How proud are you of this guy, though, in terms of where he's at in his career and what he's accomplished to get to this point?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it's he's earned his way to the NHL, and when he got here, he won the whole enchilada, right? I mean, it's a story in Hollywood, but it's more than that. That happens. You got the rest of your career, and it's not always going to be easy. It's not always going to be smooth, but I think he's found his rhythm in the game, and very solid. Plays within himself, and that's what you want as a goaltender. I learned from Floyd Smith. He talked about Terry Sawchuk. He said when Yuki was back there, we turned around and knew he was there. We knew it was under control back there, and that's what I tried. And he said, "You've got to be that person," and I try to play like that. And Jordan has certainly delivered that for St. Louis.
Listen, Jordan, I know you respect the history of the game, and especially here in the organization, but he's at 151. He's the all-time leader in wins in the history of the Blues, and you're inching closer and closer to getting there. What would it mean to pass Mike Liut if you're able to get to that point and pass Mike Liut, a guy who obviously you've known for a long time?
It would mean a lot, but I feel like it's something I'll have to let you know when we get there.
That's the most Jordan Binnington answer of
Well,
all time, and it's a good answer too, right?
We don't
talk about the goalie jinx?
Nah, we just don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Right. We expect it. We don't talk about it.
Did you know this guy had it in him?
Yeah. Yeah. He had an outstanding conclusion to his junior career. He was very good as he progressed through his pro career. I think the Blues made some decisions I didn't agree with, but he persevered over that, and that's what. As I said to people this weekend, when I left the game of hockey, I was talking to my dad, as you're going to do, about my career, and I said I just can't believe I lasted that long. And it's really it's a bit of a game of attrition, right? And survival and learning to play, and you're going to have to make adjustments. And the players that are in tune with the game, think about it. I don't want to say they're students of it. They're just it's a sincerity that they're trying to make the best of it every year. And those are the guys that get to play a long time, and he's certainly one of those.
What do you think when you see his highlights, Jordan? When you break down his game for us?
I think it's really cool. And in a night like last night, just seeing the history and hearing the guys' camaraderie and talking together. We've been talking about all day, all the guys who were at the event, and just how cool that is, and the history and the foundation of this organization and the game is so important. And I think that's something that I've been learning more and more as the years go on and appreciating. And watching those saves, I don't know how I would be or how I would play some of those situations with the gear and the helmet. It's crazy thinking you wore that helmet.
Not
truly,
exactly a helmet.
Truly, that face shield, whatever you got. But
It's face shield, that's about it.
yeah, just I think it's important for us
Halloween mask.
to good costume. Just to have that respect and understand, people were here before us and paved the way. So that's what I have to say.
We need to get you a mask like that, just for one game, one period.
You might as well wear nothing. Really.
It's very close to the same thing.
How heavy would those pads get to?
Very.
Waterlogged?
Yeah, because they were mine. I was one of the first to have foam in there in the front part of it, but the inside was all deer hair. So yeah, they were heavy. The gear was, I don't know, it was 25 pounds, something like that, right? When you all skates, everything was heavier, right? But you didn't have that. I mean, that picture there, I'm literally taping that to my hand because you're sweating so hard, it's hard to hang on to it. Just the equipment was, not very good, right? And the arms, you're going to get hit with one of those.
Did you have
It's gonna
padding?
hurt.
Were you wearing a chest protector there?
Yeah, it was a good chest protector. It just wasn't. The arms took a beating, right? Elbows, yeah. It was different.
Yeah. All right, Jordan, thanks for stopping by, man.
Of course.
Appreciate it.
Anytime.
Okay. Thanks, buddy. Great job tonight as well.
Guys, we'll see you a bit.
What's
Great
the
job, Jug.
what's
Great job,
the
pal.
agent-player relationship like? Are you part counselor, part coach, part friend, part father figure?
Yeah.
Like, how does that?
Well, for me it is. It's always been, and I'm 40 years older than him, right? So there is that. I was at dinner a few years ago with a couple clients, and at different times, and it hit me in the first dinner that I'm old enough to be their grandfather.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And not like biologically if I have, no, this is just like in the normal course of things, right? So when I started, we were recruiting college players, and that was more of a substantive, easier discussion and that sort of thing. We met Jordan. He was 15, he's turning 16, he's starting his OHL career, and it starts off kind of, what are you really going to do with a player at that age? And we always try to create some take-home value, right? Well, at least for me, right? Obviously, you have to play, and there's not many that play, and they're agents. But I want to talk to them about, where they are in their head and where they are in their career and how they react to certain things. And usually, it's a loss or a bad stretch or something like that. So yes, it's. I won't say coaching. I never coach goalies, right? They have to find their own style. They have their own coaches. But how they manage themselves in the dressing room and conduct themselves as leaders and how that projects, that there's very few goalie coaches that, unless you played at this level, they can't talk to that. So that's where my, in terms of being a mentor is there. And then, you're gonna get those calls that are, things are not going well in life, and so you are a confidant, and you're an attorney, and you're a lot of these things to these kids. And the best part about it is, the only time I ever think I'm 68 is when I look in the mirror in the morning to shave. Other than that, my clients are all 30 plus or minus 5 years, and I think I'm their age.
By the way, I knew better not to ask him the question about passing you for the all-time wins. I mean, I knew what kind of answer you'd get out of him, but obviously he's getting closer. And if there's one guy who's going to do it, I'm sure you would love it if it was Jordan Binnington. Listen, fun fact, Bernie Federko, great career, obviously Hockey Hall of Famer. He scored his 300th goal and his 1,000th point against you. Did you know that?
Do you have the video?
Well,
And you know what?
Trevor, we have the video.
My 300th goal is probably the best goal I ever scored. No, I'm
no,
serious.
he was telling me earlier.
I beat you high glove from the left side, and it was like one of those things that I don't know how I did that, because it was across the line, came back, and then shot it at the same time. So
Right.
I was really proud of that one. It was you.
Yeah.
You know, Brian Sutter scored.
I didn't know that, but I'm glad it was.
Yeah.
Brian Sutter scored his 300 goal against you too.
Sure, kicked me while I'm down. Did he really?
Well, that's.
I thought you guys were friends. I thought we were like Padres.
I was just shooting. I didn't know what I was doing. I just shoot it.
Unless the internet is lying to us, but 300 and 1,000, not in the
good.
same game, by the way. I had to ask Bernie which one came first.
301 came first, and then we won that game, and the other one we lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's get a final thought. Obviously, the whole experience of this weekend. Bernie, I'm going to start with you because I know you went in last year and you're here all the time, but you love it when these guys come in and they got a big win for you too, you know, and you got to go on the ice beforehand and see the players and let the fans recognize you guys. That's got to be an amazing feeling.
It is, and I think what Mike just said, we only know that we're in our 60s now when we're get up in the morning. It's hard to get out of bed because it hurts. But really, in mindset, you come to the rink, we watch the game, and you still feel that you're a part of it. You still feel that you could go out there. You know you can't do it now, but you love watching what we used to do. I mean, this was our job. This is our what we were paid to do, and we loved doing it. To us, it was. We didn't play for the paycheck. We got paid for it, but I think that for more so, we had fun, and we built a camaraderie and the friendships that last for forever. And to see the guys come back, you don't see them all the time. But when we get together, even if it's just once a year or once in 5 years or 10 years, it's a really special moment because we were together all the time, and we have so many things that we're tied to, and especially the Blue Note. And I think the Blue Note's the big thing that we're all tied to, and that's why it's always special to see them all come back here.
How about you, Mike?
Well, it's just being part of the group, right, and being recognized amongst, the best that have played here, and it's maybe the end of a childhood dream.
And it was great to see the Dimitri family as well.
It really was, yeah. It really was special to see it. It's just, every time I think about that, that's left us way too early. It's hard to believe that something that can happen to an entire hockey team too, which is kind of crazy because we were on those flights all the time. We were on flights and we never ever thought of that for a moment. And here you see it can happen. Yeah.
Well, great job last night and well-deserved honor. And I'll speak for Bernie and everybody else, but it's been great to have you back in St. Louis and remember the good old days of your great career. Mm-hmm. Blues Hall of Famer. You said you're in 4 Hall of Fames now. How many Hall of Fames for you now, Bernie?
I don't know. I don't know.
Too many to count. Well, you're a Hockey Hall of Famer and obviously Blues Hall of Famers as well. This has been the Late Shift, as always presented by Bud Light. We love doing these. Check out the Blues YouTube channel. If you missed any of the previous episodes, you can see those there as well. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.